All right, Shalom. This is Hara 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakakodash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Nakwati, my children, that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. This is Ezekiel 3 and 1. All right. Now it says this. It says, Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. All right. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Okay, so now the reason I want to get the scripture is because I want to focus on the topic of eating this roll. What it means is to consume or to read the scriptures, all right, to eat with your mind. I always tell people you have two stomachs. You got your physical stomach, that you have to fill, and you also have your spiritual stomach, which you have to fill. Okay. You got to feed the spirit, and you got to feed the body as well. Because a lot of people, they feed their body their whole life without ever feeding their spirit or feeding their soul. Their soul is starving, thirsting for water, thirsting for hydration, for truth. So the Lord told us to do what? He told us to consume or to eat this whole roll. So I want to get into that point real quick. All right, because we know he's not talking about food, because he said what? Eat this whole roll and go and speak my words unto them. See, the Lord's words. Matter of fact, this is Matthew 4 and 4. But he answered and said, it is written. So it's written that man shall not live off bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh. So, all right, so his words are food. It's like what? All right, because the scriptures represent the spirit of truth or wisdom and the spirit of Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That, or what you would call the manna from heaven. All right, and you call the scriptures the bread, the meat, the oil, the wine, the milk. This is all spiritual talk as far as consumption. Revelations 2 and 17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. The churches represent the called out ones. All right. Right here it says, Revelations 2 and 17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. And that word churches means ecclesia, which means to be called out. The ones that were called out from the world, called out from amongst Israel, called out by the Spirit, just like today. All right. It says, to him that overcometh, so the ones that overcome are the ones that believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And 2,000 years ago, they gave their life for this truth. All right. So they've overcome already. And they've been set up today to receive the hidden manna, to receive the word, the Spirit, the promise of the Spirit today. All right. So it says, to him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth save he that receiveth it, man. So the Lord is going to give them what? A righteous garment, righteous body in the kingdom, a reward, you know, forgiveness of sins and salvation. They say he's going to give them the what? The hidden manna. It gives them to eat of it. Let's see what that word eat in the Greek. It says fago. It means to eat, to consume a thing, to take food, eat a meal, to devour, consume. All right. So the hidden manna is manna. And it says manna is an edible gum, the food that nourished the Israelites for 40 years in the wilderness. Of the manna was kept in the Ark of the Covenant, right? But it's talking about spiritual now. That which is kept in the heavenly temple for the food of angels and the blessed. Sheesh. All right. So it says, the ones that overcome, the Lord gonna give them to eat of the hidden manna. All right. Let me read this real quick. Make this point because these fools at that time they thought Yahweh was saying was telling them to eat his flesh or to really drink his blood, like cannibalism. All right. Um, John 6:43. Yahushua therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not among yourselves. All right. No man can come to me except the Father which have sent me draw him. All right. So nobody can overcome and eat of the hidden manna unless Yahweh draws them to Yahushua, to the truth. That's what's called hidden manna. All right. And I will raise him up at the last day. So the ones that believed in Yahushua back then, they're going to be raised up in these last days that we're living in now. And you can tell we're in the last days because of the prophecies. It is written in the prophets. I mean, in the Old Testament, and they shall be all taught of Yahweh. Every man, therefore, that have heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me. All right. Not and the scriptures say what Yahweh the Spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So that's the spirit that he's talking about consuming. All right. 46. Not that any man have seen the Father, save he which is of Yahweh. He have seen the Father. All right. So Yahweh Shai is the only one that really saw Yahweh in the flesh, or in person. And Moses, when he was talking to who he was talking to in Genesis, he was talking to Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh's spokesman. 47. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. I am the bread of life. See? So he's that bread that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh, because he's that cup that Yahweh filled up with wisdom. And that cup get poured into our cups. It says, I am the bread of life. So Yahweh Shai is the bread, right? Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. Right? And I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world, man. And he gave his life for the elect of Israel, all right, for the children of Israel. And it says, uh, so when he was crucified, when he gave up his flesh, his body, right, as a sacrifice, uh, we eat of that same sacrifice, man. We take part in it. We take part in his suffering. All right. Um, so he's gonna explain it more. This is John 6:52. The Jews thereof strove among themselves, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" See, they were being stupid. They weren't understanding what he was saying. He was saying, "Eat this roll," saying, "Take part of the scriptures. Understand what he's saying." All right. Verse 54. No, 53. Then Yahushua said unto them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you," man. Right? Because when he told Ezekiel to eat the roll of the book, he was talking about the laws. All right, it was the laws. It was a portion of the laws that were given to him, and it was told to Ezekiel to go read that to our people. But that the laws are able to uh, uh, make you. They can give you long life and help you to be righteous, but they can't help you with the inner man, the spirit. They can help the flesh, but not the spirit. All right. And through this, the Lord is saying we'll live forever. Through the spirit conquering the flesh. 54. Um, Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. So they thought he was talking about physically eating his flesh and blood, but he was saying consume this roll. Understand what he's saying. Eat up his words that he's speaking to you. You know, understand the sacrifice he was making at that moment and the opportunity that was being presented to us at that time. And he promised to raise us up in these last days. 54. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. And he said, what his meat is to do the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him, right? And you drink of his blood, meaning you're going to drink of the covenant. That blood represents his covenant, the second covenant, the promise. And this word, which represents what? The water, or the keep from being thirsty spiritually. So it says, for my flesh, my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed, right? The meat represents his work and his sacrifice, doing the will of the Father. He that eateth my flesh and drink my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. So you got to eat this word and go do the work. As the living Father have sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. So right, eating his word, you'll be blessed. This is the bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. All right, Revelation 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. All right, to be blessed is to be favored or chosen, you know. So the Lord will favor you if you're reading and consuming the whole roll, all right, and understanding of his spirit. So he said, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. So you're supposed to read these words and go speak the words so people can hear the words. All right, and that makes you a what? A prophet. And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. All right, so you're supposed to keep and guard and speak of the things that are written therein, because the time is at hand, because it's all tied into prophecy. Supposed to be speaking prophecies in these times about the destruction, about the chip, about deliverance and salvation. All right. Um, and salvation means to be saved from someone's trap, a trap that's being set for you. And if a lot of these people out here that's holding the Bible, they're not speaking about any traps. They're not speaking about the chip, the mark of the beast. They're not speaking about destruction coming, you know, and famine and all this. They're not speaking about that. Instead, they speak about some imaginary shit that they made up. So there's a trap being set. And the Lord said, what? The ones that keep those things that are written therein, all right, and hear the words of this prophecy. It's all about prophecy, man. All right? The Lord said he gonna what? Deliver them in the last days. All right, this is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, man. So we're supposed to rightly divide the word of truth. Like just like you cut up your food, you cut up your steak or your lamb, and you rightly divide it, you know, proper servings for each person. We're supposed to rightly divide the word of truth and break it down correctly in bits and pieces, and you give people meat to eat, you know, in portions. All right, so back to Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. All right, so how can he speak food unto them? No, he's speaking the word, the scriptures. So you're supposed to devour it, consume the roll, eat it, all right? Um, and then go and speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Right? You got to force yourself to read. You gotta eat. You know, and sometimes you got to find time to do it, man. You got to force yourself. The audio book is cool, but it's nothing like visual reading and seeing and reading it. All right. And fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat. I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. All right, so the Lord didn't send us to the Chinese and all these different nations. He sent us to our people, the children of Israel. Even though we may look like some of these nations, but his voice is to to Israel only at the end of the day. All right. Yasha Allah. And we're supposed to go speak these words. First to become sweet as honey in the mouth. You know you're an Israelite. You want to tell the world, but then you have to go teach and you get persecuted. It becomes bitter, but then it becomes sweet again. All right. Again later. It's like regurgitation, you know. But now it said what? Where was that? So he said, get thee to the children of Israel and speak these words unto them. All right, because if you read that whole chapter, the Lord in that chapter was making Ezekiel his spokesman to the people. All right, and the Lord had to force him to do it. Ezekiel didn't want to talk to the people, man. Our people, Jake is fucking wicked, man. Ezekiel 2 and 6. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them. See, he was afraid of his own people. He didn't want to deal with them. Neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dwellest among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house, right? Because our people are from some hateful and hurtful people. That's what I mean by scorpions. Okay, being wicked. Verse 7. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. And the main part of his word that they were speaking at that time were his laws, telling them to come back to his laws, statutes, and commandments, and the truth about his name. All right. Verse 8. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. See, he's saying open your mind and take it in. All right, take it into mind. Don't be like the rebellious house. Matter of fact, this is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, see, to the laws, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. You see that? So it's about the prophecies, keeping the laws to the best of your ability, teaching about the laws and the prophecies, man. All right, you got to teach the prophecies correctly. You got all these camps out here teaching it wrong, man. ISUPK, IUIC, GOCC, and all these other ABC camps. They're teaching it incorrectly, the scriptures. All right, so somebody that wants to turn back to Yahweh Bashim El Shai, they're gonna be occupied in the laws and occupied in the prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. All right, so this is Matthew 22 and say 4. Well, no, let's start from here. How about that? Matthew 22:1. And Yahweh Shai answered and spake unto them again by parables, meaning mysteries, right? And allegories, and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son. So Yahweh set up this marriage, this second covenant for the children of Israel and Yahushua. All right, the bride and the groom. All right, so verse 3. And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. And that's the ones that wouldn't listen when the Lord was sent, and he sent his disciples, and a lot of the Sadducees and Pharisees wouldn't listen. The wicked Sadducees and Pharisees. And just like today, those that were bidden ISUPK, and they wouldn't listen, man. IUIC, Lahab and all them, and they wouldn't come. But the Lord said this again. He sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. So that's what we're saying today. That the ones that are being drawn by Yahweh's spirit, his sheep hear his voice, all right, and they know him and they follow him. They know his voice. They're the ones that are being bidden to the marriage. He said, what? Behold, I have prepared my dinner. So this is the eating of the roll again. All right. Everything's prepared. My oxen and my fatlings are killed. It's the meat. And all things are ready. Come unto the marriage, man. All things are ready. The whole table is ready. The food, the wine, the lights, the candles, right? The music, the song that we sing, everything is there. All right. So, all right, this is back at Ezekiel 2, and I'll start from 7. It says, "And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. For they are a rebellious, most rebellious man." And that's why 2/3 of our people can't get it. And they won't hear this truth. They're a rebellious spirit, the demons. Because the scriptures say rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And the scriptures say, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." So they're going to be destroyed. And they're spiritually dead. Verse 7. And thou, well, verse 8. "But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee." All right. "And when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein." All right. So he's saying, eat this whole roll, right? So he's saying it's a roll of a book. It's not like a roll of bread. It's a roll of a book. All right. A portion of the book or of the laws. Right here it says what? "And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. There was written therein lamentations, mournings, and woe." That's what this book is about. It's a book of warnings. But let me get this point real quick. All right. Uh, he says, "Open thy mouth," right? That's why scripture say, "Blessed is he that readeth," and rightly dividing the word of truth. All right. Let's get mouth. It says, Hebrews 6:3-10. It says, "Pa." It says the mouth or edge, a portion according to as organ of speech. So basically saying your spiritually your mind, okay? Um and now it says and eat. Now we saw what eat is in the Greek. Let's see what it is in Hebrew. And it says akal, right? We say ma'akal. It means like this food. Um it says to eat, to devour, to burn up, to feed, to cause to devour, to consume. All right, so we're supposed to consume this roll. Now, by roll, of course, it's a book. He said that was written within and without. It says a roll, meaning magala, magala, and it means a roll, a book, a writing. All right, it was a writing, a book. And it says the laws. All right, the book of law. Now, so this was a portion of the book that was given to Ezekiel to go and read to his people and tell them to stop being wicked and stop sinning and stop following the ways of the Assyrians or the Babylonians. All right. And he said it was written within. He spread it before him, man. He opened the book up before him, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations. Right. Lamentations by beating the breast or on instruments, meaning crying out, right? The Lord crying out to his people or calling out. And it says muttering. and sighing of thought, moaning, rumbling, groaning. All right. So this is a groaning of spirit, the mournings, right? Woe, wailing. So, so let's get this precept real quick. All right. Because the same angel or same type of angel was sent to John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos, you know, later on in AD. That was sent to Ezekiel in BC, and this is sent to John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos in around 175 or 75 AD. All right, Revelations 10 and 1. So this is about the hand that was sent to Ezekiel that had the roll of a book in it and said, "Eat." So was it literal just a hand flying in the sky? No. Revelations 10 and 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. So meaning this angel was in a chariot, a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, meaning it was shining like a rainbow, all right, spectrum, all kind of colors. And his face was as it were the sun, so it was bright and glowing, and his feet as pillars of fire. So the bottom of the chariot was like a floor, but it was lit up like with lights, but they called it fire. And pillars represent a floor, all right, straight. They had a hard surface on the bottom. And he had in his hand a little book open. So the angel was holding the book open. He had it spread open. And he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth. So that the chariot was landing on the earth and on the sea. Just like they saw in Ezekiel chapter 1. We saw the chariots meeting up together. It was a fleet of angels. One fleet was meeting up with another fleet and the captain, if you understand Ezekiel chapter 1. So this angel showed up in the chariot. It's showing you right there that's an angel. All right. And I'm going to read from here. It says, verse 10 and 8, Revelation 10 and 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. So the same angel, or type of angel, showed up to speak to Ezekiel and had a book in his hand. All right, so the hand was sent to him, right? So this angel had the little book in his hand. And and I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book, just like Ezekiel was given the book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up. Same thing he told Ezekiel. Take this book and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. That's what I explained earlier. Once you find out you're an Israelite, you know about salvation, but then you begin to walk the path. You start to see how bitter persecution and everything is. All right, and living in this wicked place, but it becomes sweet again. Verse 10, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. So that's what they mean by eating the book, meaning consuming or reading or digesting these words. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So he told Ezekiel this. He gonna raise him up in the last days. And he told John this, that he was gonna prophesy again before many peoples, nations, and tongues. And so John the Revelator is back here on the earth today, prophesying before many peoples, nations, and tongues and kings. All right. So you got to be in the midst of a lot of people teaching right now. All right. This is the word eat again. And this one says castethio. Catestio, and it says to eat down, to devour, to consume by eating, to eat up, to devour. It says meat of a man eating up the little book. So it's talking about devouring the book, all right, as meat or as milk. Um, to devour. Um, all right, all right. So the Lord said, once you come into this truth, you have a lot of people there try to jump out there. Like there was this guy recently, I don't know his name, Shabar. He was with the Sakari camp. And a lot of people become novices, man. They get into this truth and they think once they put on a garment or they go out and teach, and people start to recognize them, now they become like the deepest person in the truth. And they don't understand that that's the time you need to become humble and crack down and just study and watch and learn. And eyes and ears, and you'll learn everything. Use your eyes and your ears, and you'll learn everything. Eyes open, ears open, mouth shut, and just learn. That's what I did when I first came into this. And um, and that's a foundation. That's doing the groundwork, building from the ground up. So many people like to build from the top down and shit. They got no floor and no damn bottom, no foundation. And what happens is they begin to fall. So the Lord says, newborn babes, I don't care if you're 70 years old or 60 years old, once you come into this truth, you're a newborn babe. All right? A 14-year-old that's been in this truth half his life or raised in this truth and sincerity in the truth, that person's over you, because they got to the water first. Or they, in this camp, we don't like to say over somebody. We say, we don't build from the top down. We build from the front to the back. So if you got to the water first, then you show the person that's behind you how to drink the same water. If you understand that. 1 Peter 2:2, as newborn babes, so you being newborn spirit, right? Baptized. Desire the sincere milk of the word that ye may grow thereby. So you're gonna desire the sincere milk of the word, the basics, and become fluent in the basics first, in the understanding of the laws and the stories and testimonies, the lamentations, mournings, and woes, and the truth and the instructions. All right. He said, this is the meat. To eat means to devour or to deals with meat, and it means to consume, to eat the meat. All right, the roll. Hebrews 5 and 12, because the meat represents the deep things, the mysteries, the deep breakdowns and stuff like that, man. Um, Hebrews 5 and 12. And a lot of people don't need to teach that. They just need to teach the milk. And knowing about the mark of the beast, that's the milk. Verse 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of Yahweh. And the first principles represent the laws, statutes, and the commandments. And today it also represents the prophecies, all right, and the truth of the oracles, meaning the books of the scriptures, the rolls of the book. All right, because the Bible is a bunch of rolls that were put together and making one big roll. All right, a big loaf. So different books that are compiled together, like the book of Ezekiel, the book of Genesis, the book of Revelation. All these different books are put together, making one big book. All right, but verse and it says, and are become such as have need of milk. So they become babes again. They have to be retaught. People like the elder Ariah, if he came back into the truth after following Comfy and ICGJC, he would have to be taught again up under the elders, Apostle Tahar now. All right, and the people up under them, he had to be taught up under them. And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. See that? Because a babe can't eat meat. A babe has to be fed milk. A babe don't come out the womb to I want some meat. I want some damn steak and lamb. No, a babe come out the womb desiring milk. All right. Um, or they have to be taught, and then they desire the milk. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe, man. So they're unskillful, and to have skill, that's what you need, to not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You got to be skilled to be a chef, to be a chief. All right. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe, and a babe can't fight. So a babe needs to chill out, find a nest, meaning find a camp, and just eat and grow until they're ready, and help out with the camp. Play their position. Don't jump out there just because you can interject. That don't mean you know everything. Interjections are different than you having the mic and having to control the floor and continue to speak and catch all the precepts and go into the precepts and break them down. See, if you put a lot of people on the spot, they won't know what the hell to do. But they walk around proud because they call themselves an Israelite. You know, to know you're an Israelite is something else, but to be a prophet is a whole nother animal, man. A whole nother existence. Verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have the senses exercised to discern both good and evil, right? Because even if you've been in this truth for a long time and you have understanding, some people have been in this truth for a long time and they don't have any understanding, or they still can't uh, digest the meat. They have to eat the milk. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is something wrong with it when they don't admit it. They become hypocrites. All right. So a lot of people, they've been in this truth for a long time, and they created this character being in the truth, and the character gains respect instead of their work, because if you look at their work, they have no works to stand on, and if they're doing the work, they're doing it unrighteously, teaching the wrong thing, giving up the wrong vibrations. All right. So, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age. And if you've been in this truth and you have understanding, and you understand the deep things and the mysteries, all right, then you could be a full age in faith, to be able to deal and challenge these damn uh, wicked ass people out here. You could destroy these people with the milk, you know. So the weakness of the Lord is stronger than uh, their strength. All right, I guess I'll end it with this. This is Psalms 119 and 101. Because when he told Ezekiel and he told John, he said, "Eat this roll, and it shall be in that belly for sweetness, all right, in their mouth for sweetness, and in that belly for bitterness." This is Psalms 119 and 101. I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. I have not departed from thy judgments, for thou hast taught me. Wow. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. All right. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So his word is what sweet as honey, and honey deals with healing. Okay, into our mouth and awakeness. It'll waken you up. This is Psalms 19:8. The statutes of Yahweh are right, rejoicing the heart, the mind, right? The commandment of Yahweh is pure, enlightening the eyes, just like honey. All right, it enlightens. It what's the word, man? I can't think of the word right now, but it's um stimulate the mind. All right, verse 9. The fear of Yahweh is clean, enduring forever. For the judgments of Yahweh are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired than are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. So his words are sweeter than honey and the honeycomb itself that soaks up all the honey. All right. Um, let me get this. All right. Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words, see, these words are pleasant words, are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul. All right. So it's not talking about the literal mouth, it's talking about the soul, the mind, the spirit. All right. Sweet to the soul and health to the bones, man. Give you strength. So that's why the Lord tell us to what? Eat this roll and go to our people, you know? Because the roll represents the meat or the writings or the book. And we're supposed to eat it and go and give it to our people. We're supposed to eat the honey and go share it with our people and the milk and so on and so on. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.